Look, we're going to talk about why diets are keeping you stuck in the cycle of gaining weight or losing weight and then gaining the weight back and never fully able to lose the weight that you want to lose and keep it off entirely. So, background on me and why I'm so passionate about this sustainable fat loss topic is back when I was really in the thick of trying to lose 20 pounds. At that point, I wanted to lose about 20 pounds. And I hated the way I looked. I was extremely unconfident in the way I looked. I thought that if I just got a six pack, all of my problems would be dissolved. I would feel fantastic. And I put just all my merit into what I looked like, weight on the scale. In fact, the only thing that made me feel alive in those moments was the gym, was strength training and just getting after it in the gym. So in this time period, I was really tracking macros a lot, but I had gone back and forth between some different diets. And my first time I really tried a diet ever was keto. And I remember I did it for about a week. And toward the end of the week, I was helping my dad. What was I helping him with? They were cleaning up this back like retention pond area behind our house. And we're cleaning up the whole area. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling like crap, dude. Like I low energy. And what I realized at that time was the keto flu, as they call it. And basically that was the end of my keto journey. Don't remember anything about gaining any weight back or losing really any weight or anything like that. That was a diet I tried, and that's probably the first time I realized, wow, diets suck. That was that. Then I went into just tracking macros. And at this point in time, tracking macros didn't work for me because I was focusing on the wrong things. I looked at the tracking macros as just a thing of control. It was a way to control the way I looked, control the weight on the scale, and just everything, something that I felt like I could control in a very uncertain time in my life. I was just getting back from school. I quit my football career and a lot of moving parts at that time in my life. Felt lost. I felt like I was in a really big identity shift overall at that point in time. I was coming off of, stepping away from football. A big thing for me was I was performance driven. I loved training and I was very driven and I had a lot of work ethic, but it was all curtailed toward football and sports overall. So when I stepped away from sports, I had this huge identity crisis inside me. I felt like I had this hole inside of me. I was still very driven. I wanted to achieve a lot in this world. And I followed guys that were really big in the fitness industry, like Nick Bare and Bioline, Layton Norton, and Christian Guzman. These guys that are high performers in their own ways, but like very driven, big work ethic. I looked up to them with their body composition. And so that was the start of really kind of my fitness journey. But again, to kind of go back, tracking macros at the beginning didn't work for me because I was in this cycle of losing and gaining weight back because I was focused on the wrong things. I was purely focused on diet and training. And anytime I would weigh in a higher weight than I wanted to, I would totally try to starve myself that day. Not actually like not eating, but like a very minimal breakfast and lunch and try to eat as little as I could in the day, as perfect as possible, all whole foods, not an ounce of dessert or processed foods or bread or anything like that. Just like super dialed in. I would eat those in the middle of the day or for my breakfast and my lunch, try to forget about night before if I fell off my diet entirely. And then what happened? Dinner came, I'd smash dinner, feel pretty good. Like, oh, well, I don't know about dessert. And I would fix up this, I had this specific dessert that I ate so many times. One of my best friends loved this dessert too. It was really funny. Every time he'd come over, he'd be like, dude, you got to make the dessert, bro. So it was like, I believe it was like pumpkin, a Greek yogurt, a protein powder, And pumpkin, Greek yogurt, protein powder. Oh, man. Oh, berries. Berries and then honey, I think. That was like the dessert combo that I brought that I made together. So, excuse me. That was my dessert, right? After having this day of what I did was a perfect day after the night before eating way too much food, snacking. Know what happened that night? And get home, hanging out with friends and just destroy some food. Destroy some food. Like I was binge eating. Like I couldn't. It was an uncontrollable, not even hunger, just like an uncontrolled thing that overtook me. And then that was the cycle. And the next morning, I'd feel really guilty and shameful. Why did I do that? I mean, that the night before when I was in the middle of eating these things, I would think to myself, like, okay, just a little bit, like, this is the end. I'm done. I'm never going to do this again. And the next morning I wake up like, what did I just do? And I'd be perfect for my breakfast and my lunch. And then the whole cycle would repeat. So that was kind of my, um, and to tie that back into tracking macros was because I was in that cycle, I would put my calorie level lower than to anticipate this. I would put my calorie level lower to anticipate me eating so much at dinner or snacking to kind of offset all of the binging that I would do at night. And it was like the self-fulfilling prophecy. So I had the keto, I had the tracking macros, and then fast forward just a little bit time. I kind of went back and forth with this tracking macros thing uh quite a few times. But ultimately the tracking macros did help me lose the 20 pounds. Then I tried to do what did I try to do next? I tried to carnivore and animal based. So I had lost 20 pounds. So backtrack. In that time period that I was in that cycle that I just described, I gained 20 pounds while trying to lose 20 pounds. I got up to like 218 or something. That time was deep, dark time. But even when I ended up losing the weight, I I hated the way I looked still. And this was a much deeper issue than I have time to get into now. But this was a much deeper issue. And in this time that I ultimately lost the 20 pounds that I did lose, I started working on other things aside from just diet and exercise. But I still was really unfulfilled. I still had this belief that I need to look better. And something inside me, I was like, had this insatiable hunger for that I was searching for, but I couldn't put my finger on. So still trying to lose some weight. At this point, I'd gotten up to 218, lost that, got down to like 195 again, something. And but still hated the way I looked. So what did I do? I went to carnivore and animal based. This is around the time that Liver King was exploding on the scene. Um, yeah, Liver King. Liver King, Paul Saladino had started doing his more animal based brand of sort. And sorry, I'm all over the place here. I forgot that I tried vegan when I was in college because I watched Game Changers and I started everybody's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I'm like recovering from an ACL injury and everybody is like, "Oh, why are you eating vegan?" That was actually the real start to my dieting phase. Anyway, so fast forward to the time where still really hated the way I looked even though I had lost the weight. And I wanted to do carnivore. So tried carnivore and lost, I think it was like 8 pounds immediately, very quickly. And sure enough, what's the first thing that I did? Within a couple weeks, I burnt out of it and started destroying candy and eating all of the carbs again. Gained all the weight back plus a little bit. And again, bad relationship with food, feeling like a failure, hated myself for what I was doing, couldn't understand why I kept doing this to myself. Why couldn't I get to the next level? And this having the diet, keeping doing these diets and then ultimately failing them was really hard on my mental health, honestly. And it's not being woo woo. I was so frustrated and lacked confidence and self-esteem myself because I felt like I was driven, like I was ambitious, I had big goals and aspirations, but something about like I was attaching my entire worth as a man at this time into this food and these diets. it was really, really a hard time in my life at that time. It was my biggest problem, and in hindsight, it's like, man, it didn't need to be that big of a thing, but that was my whole it it really just wrecked my world in a lot of ways. So, I did carnivore, and then I was like, "Well, maybe I gotta do animal-based." So I did animal-based, meat and fruit, and I think at this point I had gained back a little bit of weight and I was looking a little chunky. I'm not happy with the way I looked. Sure thing. I lost the weight pretty quickly. I don't know. It wasn't very much, maybe 10 pounds, if that, 7, 8 pounds. Um, and again, ran into the same exact issue, that same pattern over and over of go on a diet, do really well, motivated and driven, ambitious. And then all of a sudden, I go off track a little bit, whether it's bread or it's a piece of candy, whatever. And then all of a sudden, floodgates open. I just say, fuck it, dude, I'm going. And I just destroy. It's a binge. And then that was the cycle from there. The cycle always came back to trying to be perfect, fall off the wagon a little bit, destroy the food, shame and guilt for not being perfect, saying F it, falling off the wagon for like a couple days, and then trying to be perfect again. And just being like, all right, I'm putting it behind me. I'm gonna try it again. And like just over and over and over until really I actually had something similar to this the last in August. I did a Whole 30 with a couple of my in-person clients, actually. They wanted to do Whole 30. And I tried to be like, look, I don't think you guys need to do this or whatever. But they want to do Whole 30. And I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. I had some issues that I was trying to solve myself. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it with you guys. And this was kind of the nail in the coffin for me to start being very passionate and talking about these things because I lost 8 pounds in this past August. Got leaned up a little bit, felt really good. Energy was super high. And again, I ran into the same exact pattern and it set me off for like a month and a half, where I went from being perfect to introducing a little bit of bread, some desserts back, and then feeling like crap, guilt, shame for having those foods and gained all the weight back. And then this led like into the holiday season where holiday season, I have grace for it is what it is. But having that late August or the August experience into the fall, it had me in a funk myself. And so I finally realized like, dude, it was the tracking the macros and that set the foundation for me and learning how to lose the fat sustainably because I kept all the weight off that initial 20 pounds that I lost. What was I? I was 195.6 last night or yesterday. And I got all the way up to 217 or 218 or whatever. So I kept the 20 pounds off. And it came from learning how to integrate a healthy diet and healthy lifestyle, a training plan, all in one, mixed with the mindset pieces and other lifestyle habits, mixed with the just learning how to integrate some of these. I've heard them called the coach that I worked with 4 years ago. She would call them soul foods, but learning how to integrate these soul foods into a healthy, overarching plan was the thing that I was missing this entire time, or that wasn't clicking entire time. I just kept running into that pattern, this pattern, this pattern, and ultimately, it finally clicked. Like diets are what were keeping me stuck. And the diets, if you're watching this, are what are keeping you stuck because they're hurting your relationship with food. It's hurting your relationship with your family and keeping you from your peace and keeping you from spending quality, present time with your family because you are so worried about what you're eating all the time. I mean, this specific time that we went to BJ's Brewhouse with my family, and it was a big family dinner. And we've got appetizers rolling. Somebody, I think it was bread on the table at that point. And instead of enjoying my time with my family, I'm sitting here looking at this appetizer on the table, this bread, thinking about, oh, dude, I got to eat that. No, I can't have that. I can't have that. It's going to go, it's going to make me fat. I'm going to gain weight if I start eating that. I gotta be perfect. Like, can't do that. It's wrong. It's bad. And I missed out on a quality moment that I had with my family because I was so worried about this damn bread on the table. Those are the moments that I don't want anyone to ever have to experience. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And finally, thank God, by the grace of God, this has finally clicked for me because I'm done with the restrictive diets. And I don't want anybody to fall prey to the fitness industry the dieting culture that's out there right now. It's one thing to do it for autoimmune diseases and specific problems you're trying to solve, but to just lose 20 plus pounds. I've had a client lose 30 pounds in 90 days. I've had another client lose, he was right about 19 or 20. He got down to like 204. And I think at the end of our 90 days, he was about 206. He was 225. But the ultimate thing is man, like focusing so much on this diet and instead of just being like, dude, I'm going to eat whole foods. I'm going to focus on whole foods and then I'm going to have a little bit of dessert at night and call it a day and enjoy my time with my family and stop stressing over having a little bit. You're going to gain mental space back. You're going to gain mental clarity back. You're going to start to even understand your purpose again because you're no longer in fear and stress of gaining weight, of getting fat, of, oh, this food's going to make me gain weight or this food is whatever, man. It's so, I hate that this part of the culture a lot of times. I love the fitness industry. It's exploding for good reason. People need it. We all need it. You need to be healthy. You need to be fit. But I'm most passionate about the fact that you don't have to do these diets to lose the weight. You don't. And I kind of ramble a little bit in this video, but I wanted to be real and raw about it. That's been my experience. And I've kept the weight off in hindsight because I laid the foundation of learning how to integrate these foods, desserts, bread, anything you would deem bad or the fitness culture calls bad. I learned how to integrate these things into a healthy lifestyle plan on top of working upon my mindset and making sure I have a strength conditioning plan that fits my life and my work and my family time and making sure that all of it is all encompassing to my relationships. And that's what I want for all of you. So if you made it this far and you watched the entire video, I know I rambled a little bit, went back and forth a couple times, but if you watched the whole video, thank you. And if you've got any comments below, comment and subscribe for more of these. And I'd love to connect with you on Instagram, or if you want to, if this really resonated with you, you can also book a call. I'll put my call link down below as well. But at a minimum, love to connect with you on IG. You can follow me and shoot me a message there, and we'll see you in the next one.